something we've been talking certainly more and more about, and you definitely have seen many, whether it's venture capitalists or investors in general, private equity, heads of firms, buy into teams, buy teams, the idea in general.
Yeah, I think the reason why private equity and venture capitalists like myself are so attracted to sports in general is there are a lot of similarities. I know this it's not obvious, but a lot of similarities between sports and what we do in the venture space. So first and foremost, the leagues are broken down into two different categories. You have the capital call leagues and you have the distribution leagues. Capital call leagues are the unprofitable ones that you have to chip in capital every year or raise money to fund losses. Distribution leagues are the profitable ones, right? So in my world, in venture capital, you have early stage companies that are pre-revenue, just an idea, no traction, no growth, no customers. And you have growth stage that are growing really fast but unprofitable. And then, of course, you have late stage, which is my favorite. That's starting to pop up and become a lot more pronounced in sports as well. For example, early stage sports is like pickleball. Everyone's talking about it, right? Or sailing or cricket in the United States, even though it's super popular in India. Growth stage will be stuff like Major League Soccer in the US, doing well, still growing really fast, but not as dominant and profitable as like the NBA and Major League Baseball, which would be considered like late stage leagues in addition to the NFL. So a lot of similarities and of course, different risk return profiles in each, but it's a very, very exciting space and I'm happy to be a part of it. And you're seeing a lot more private equity and VCs jump in.
Jumping off what you talked about, late stage venture investing being your favorite, obviously segues into what we're going to see in terms of IPOs over the second half of the year. What's your outlook?
Well, I think the world is still bifurcated. I remember I was on here last time and we were talking about the tale of two tech IPOs, right? So you have the profitable unicorns that are being rewarded that can go public right now, just like big tech. And those guys can access the capital markets. They don't need money. They can raise money from anywhere. If they decide to go public, they will be welcomed with open arms, right? But then you have the unprofitable growth stage companies, which are struggling to go public and even struggling to raise capital in the private markets to a certain extent, which the market is largely closed off for those guys. And as you know, I'm a very active growth and late stage tech investor, and I have some of my favorites, some of which in my portfolio are going public. But the dirty little secret is most VCs don't want our growth and late stage companies going public at these multiples unless they're getting that premium that only the most profitable and the biggest companies get. So we're not in a huge rush. Of course, we want liquidity, but we're definitely not in a huge rush to go public when we think if we just waited a little bit, interest rates drop, people are then rewarded a little more, have free access to capital, and we'll get higher multiples and valuations.
What are the favorite ones in your portfolio now that you think are going to go public sooner rather than later?
I have them up on my screen at all times. Literally, they're screensavers. My all-time favorite is Epic Games. I've been talking about Epic Games for years. I remember seeing Travis Scott perform live in Fortnite, and it just changed my whole outlook about the metaverse. I wasn't totally bought in at that time, but when I saw what was happening with Epic Games and Fortnite, I just couldn't resist. So Epic Games is my favorite. You also have Stripe, you have Chesty, you have Klarna, Arctic Wolf. So if you find companies in the AI industry, in the cybersecurity industry, in the quantum computing or quantum protection industry, those are the industries driving a lot of growth right now in tech. But my favorites that I think are going to go public in the next several months to quarters would be those five.
Yeah, when you look at tech investing in general, we can take the public markets just to get your perspective on it. When you see an NVIDIA do what it's doing, and then you see mega cap stocks that are really heavily focused on AI doing what they're doing, it's still the game. I mean, the game is all being played in those stocks for the most part. Does it continue that way?
Well, I was telling my team this morning in our daily meeting, people eat more at buffets. I think that's the only way I can sum up what's going on right now. You're seeing a feeding frenzy for big tech companies for a reason. Revenue growth is looking more like venture capital. You're seeing 15 to 30% revenue growth on big tech, where the average revenue growth for S&P companies is usually around 5%. That's kind of entering into my venture capital world. So of course, you lay out all of this food and you have all of this variety of people are going to eat. But how long will it last? I think that's Yeah, only a person with a crystal ball could determine that. But I absolutely think valuations are warranted. I absolutely think these companies have a lot more room to grow. And the proof is in the pudding. Look at the revenue growth. Look at the earnings. They're beating expectations. And I think it will continue for the short term.